The original Lily Lovebraid design was very different. We just got ourselves our very first look at the original 2023 concept art for Lily Lovebraids. We also got ourselves a little behind the scenes sneak peek at the intro cutscene commercial for chapter 5. And it's pretty interesting, so without further ado, let's just go and hop right into the video and start off by looking at Lily Lovebraid's original design. So thanks to Scott over on Twitter, he went and posted this yesterday. Well, actually around 2-ish days ago at the time of filming and recording this, but he did say, sharing some of the earliest work on Lily Lovebraids. The color pick is the first one I made when pitching the character back in late 2023. The last pick was some character exploration on how she would act from last year. So it seems like her character was pitched back in 2023, but wasn't really explored until last year. And we actually kind of already knew this thanks to Isaac's Q&A that was posted back in February, which we already went and posted a full video talking about all that because there's a bunch of interesting changes in original story beats and just a whole bunch of stuff on the prototype, but that's not what this video is about. Isaac, when asked about other characters, said that the Outermost, Chum, and Giblet are brand new, but that Lily has some early concept art when he left, and that at the time she had 2 big braids that she walked with kind of like Doc Ock. However, she wasn't part of the outline when he left, so he wasn't sure how he could go and fit her in chapter 5. But now we finally got ourselves to look at what the original concept art was, and this is the very first earliest one from 2023. And as you guys can see here, this was Lily Lovebraids. Well, actually, her name might have potentially been Mini Mega Braids. Because thanks to Terabig Gaming, in his behind the scene look at chapter 5, he found out in the files that her original name or code name was Mini Mega Braids, showing that that might have potentially been her original name. I already did a full entire short just talking about that, but looking at the original concept art, it makes a lot of sense because she is Minnie with some mega braids. And that is not a play on words, that's literally what she is. She is a small doll, but her braids are big and she walks around just like Doc Ock, exactly how Isaac went and described her. The first one, she just looks like a little rag doll, kind of looks a little bit reminiscent of Poppy, but more of a plush doll versus a porcelain doll. Where the second one, she just looks like a crazy, vile animal, and it looks kind of the exact same as the other one, but it's more maybe her monster form. She has sharp claws, but you can see her hair just going and grabbing something or reaching out to either the player. But then the last one on the right is definitely a little bit more darker. As you can see, her hair, it looks like it has little hands and it's like little feet. It kind of looks like insect tails or insect hands just reaching out of her hair, which is a cool, neat little detail. But she has glowing purple eyes and she's kind of just there in the shadows. But that was the visual development for the original Lily Lovebraids design, kind of aka called Mini Mega Braids, but sadly no dev went and confirmed that yet, and this is just rumors thanks to the game's files. But the next photo shows some more iterations on how she was going to be, and then she changed from being a small doll to a regular sized doll, but still having those 3 mega braids, but testing out different designs of just 2 braids or 2 bottom braids or the original 3 braids, and then having different type of bang types, showing how she was going to keep this Barbie doll type face and doll like body still instead of being a plush doll, which is very interesting because they kind of kept that but also switched it up a little bit in the finale. But it's really interesting seeing all the different design choices. It would have been really cool if she did have different type of bangs or hairs or braids that she's able to just go and switch, kind of like a swappable doll. I do think that would be a really cool detail to actually see. But if you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to go and subscribe to the channel because it really helps me out and keeps you guys up to date on anything Poppy Playtime related, like new cut content, new concept arts, or just really any bit of news. But then the third image shows a little bit more on different type of doll types. For like 190 type doll, as you guys can see there, she kind of looks like what original Brat dolls. If you know, you know. And then the second one here is more of a posable type doll, which kind of has the body of those posable mannequins that you could go and use for artists. And that's the first thing I really thought of. And then the last one here is just kind of like her face looks a lot like Lily, but her body's more like a plush type doll still. And then the bottom two is Kid 1 and Kid 2, showing instead of her just looking more like an adult or a teen, it's more like a kid, kind of like Poppy. But either way, her hair would still have those 3 big braids, so maybe in this time, her name was still Mini Mega Braids. But then, in the very last image we got here, we finally got ourselves here the final design. But here is a bunch of different poses about how Lily would have mainly acted in the visual development. We can see in the top row just a lot of different expressions of her just looking all sneaky, then just being happy, then also just going crazy. And is that, I just want to verify, is the third one Lily flipping us off with her hair braid? Because if that is the case, that would be absolutely hilarious, but I love that. We can see that Candy Cat is there as her little like talking friend, you know, because she's a little crazy. But we can see lots of the different poses here, and she looks more like a cartoon character versus an actual doll, because you don't see any limbs or anything like that, which is very interesting. I definitely do like the whole limb aesthetic that we did get in the final game here. We can see her also going and playing with that creepy Dolly doll. I think that's the name for her, or if it was Dolly Grub, I kind of forgot which one's which. But in the third row, we can actually see her just first of all going crazy, but then after that, the prototype just not wanting to pay attention to her being at all. She's just silly and crazy, and it's funny because she's the adult that got turned into a toy, and the prototype is the kid that got turned into a toy, and he just does not care, and she's just silly and crazy. And in the last line, we can see she's just there, you know, crazy, doing all her crazy stuff, but then you can see the prototype just not wanting to pay any attention to her, and she's just like acting like a child, which is very funny how the roles kind of just got swapped there. But sadly, that was really it for Lily Lovebraids' original concept art. But thanks to this Playtime Co account over on YouTube, they post a whole bunch of just random shorts, nothing really crazy or interesting. But it wasn't until around 2 weeks ago where they posted this video, which is not even in English, so I'm not gonna try to even read it. But here they showed us some behind the scenes sneak peek at the intro cutscene commercial for the Wrong Side Animals. The first one we can see here is a photo of one of the actors holding the big oversized Automals that kind of appear in the game, but we can see that she is holding him while also having the prototype hand there, which is just really cool. And then the next few shots is just them showing how the hand looks, like the prototype claws, and how the actors would use them, and it looks really cool, I gotta say. I really like how cool and realistic it actually is, and actually being a practical effect. But then we get another photo of a bear being hanged up, the prototype claws just reaching out from the ceiling, along with a whole bunch of other plushies being trapped up in cages. This one is showing the behind the scene look at both of those Wrong Side Animal plushies and how they look just being on a shelf. And we got more tools and more different type of various things they use to go and test on, along with a photo shot which shows a lot of the behind the scene area of them shooting. It also shows them with the camera shooting the shot. You can see more of that pink slime that they use, of course being the Poppy gel, with the plush being ripped open on the table. But in the background, we can see a Huggy poster, a ripped up and destroyed Hoppy Hopscotch plush, and it's just really cool seeing this type of behind the scene look like this. But then we can see an up close shot of the bear just sitting there getting all, you know, wrong side outed. And for the very last shot, we got an up close look at the bear surgery with his insides just being open and a bunch of fluff and a bunch of that pink slime, along with saws and just a bunch of different tools there, all being slimed up with the Poppy gel, which is really cool to see behind the scenes on this, but still also pretty disturbing. Absolutely love it. But if you also haven't seen like the original cut version of the intro cutscene, there is a cut version and I did do a short on it. Of course, you know, you could go and watch that here. But that is really going to be it for this video. You guys can go and let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about the original 2023 Lily Lovebraids design, along with some behind the scenes sneak peek of how they actually went and filmed the commercial for chapter 5, because out of all of them, that was a pretty interesting one, and I love to see all the little bits that go into it. But don't forget to go and subscribe for more Poppy Playtime content like this, and also don't forget to go and check out this video here to see some last bits of news in Poppy Playtime, along with this video here to see some other behind the scenes sneak peeks.